Hello, welcome to meditatorzone.com. My name is Craig Kimbrough, and today I'm here to talk to you about the experience of heaven here and now, moving into the experience of heaven here and now, regardless of what's going on in your life. And this is just a short example. We need many of these examples to really be able to get the hang of it, but this is just one short example. Years ago, right after my divorce, I was moving. I had to move, and I moved onto a street called Ardmore. And when I moved on Ardmore, this particular house that I moved into was much different than anything I was used to. It was a very tiny house. I was used to a house that was 3 times the size. It was in a much rougher neighborhood. The neighborhood I lived in was, prior to this, was much nicer. And it was difficult for me to move there. But I did. I had my kids 1 week on and 1 week off. Had them half the time. And I still remember when I first moved on Ardmore, I remember the first New Year's Eve. The first New Year's Eve there was like any other New Year's Eve I've ever encountered. Now, they had a tradition at the time where people would shoot off their guns on New Year's Eve. So we were used to hearing this wherever I lived. You hear maybe 12 o'clock or maybe from 11:30, 11:40 on to 12 o'clock, a couple of pop, pop, bang, bangs here and there. But when I moved on Ardmore, it was a whole different experience. They must have started around 9 o'clock, 9:30. And I mean, it wasn't no pop, pop. It was do-do-do-do-do, bang, bang, bang. It was machine guns going off. It was big old, sound like cannons. And it sounded like they were all aimed at my house. Me and the kids crawled into the basement and slept down there that night. I never had done that before, but I was too concerned about the bullets coming in. That was a totally different experience for me. And that just reinforced my feelings about this place that I truly, I have to admit, I felt was beneath me. But here I was writing a book. Guess what the title was? What if my soul is eternal and heaven is everywhere? And not only was I writing the book, but I was beginning to realize that the book should have been titled, What if my soul is eternal and heaven is everywhere except for Ardmore? Because I was not seeing Ardmore as heavenly. And I realized that this is one of my challenges, because I wanted to prove for myself that heaven was wherever I was. I even included a quote at the beginning of the book from the Thomas Gospel when they're asking Jesus. The Thomas Gospel was one of those Gospels that was dug up in Nag Hammadi in 1945. Authenticated to be one of perhaps the closest to the real words of Jesus. And when they were asking Jesus in this particular gospel, well, when will the kingdom come? When will we get to see this heaven that you're talking about? Jesus answered. He said, the kingdom of heaven will not come by expectation. The kingdom of heaven is spread upon the earth, but men do not see it. And I wonder, is that my case? Am I in heaven right now while I'm here, but I don't see it in this house that I don't want to live in this house that I feel is beneath me, while I'm asking, when will I get to the next place? What do I have to do to get there? And my funds were depleted on account of a custody battle where I was pleased that I got my kids half the time, because that's all I wanted. But how was I going to get us off of Ardmore? And then I realized, oh no, I have to embrace it, and I have to see heaven here and now. So, along with stepping up my meditations, I started beautifying the place. I went out and got a TV that I would love for our living room. I painted the place. I did all these things. I fixed up the basement to have an extra room. And I decided this is going to be a place that I enjoy. Well, soon after this, Now, we had been living there for a year. But soon after this, my kids started befriending the kids on the block. The first year, they didn't really know the kids that well. But it seemed like right after I started getting into enjoying the place, they did too. And they had so many friends. Our house became the place that all the kids came to. I look in the backyard and I see from 8 to 15 kids back there playing. It was just beautiful. I was happy because they were happy. When they would come home from school, when I would pick them up, they would say, "Daddy, are we going home?" They didn't say, "Are we going to the show? Are we going here?" "Daddy, are we going home?" I said, "Well, you'd rather do that than go to the movies?" "Yeah, I want to play with my friends." They loved it. And there were some good kids on that street. It was beautiful. I started getting to know the neighbors up and down the block. It got to the point where I found myself telling people, I don't care if I have $1 million. I'm not moving until my kids grow up. I absolutely love it here. Then one day I thought about something that I heard a minister say years ago, Jack Boland, founder of Church of Today in Warren, Michigan. I remember him saying this when I was a kid. He said, "Don't let the good become the enemy of your better." And I said, what if something better came along? Would I be unattached enough to move into it? Shortly after this, I have an argument with my girlfriend at the time. And she's saying, "Well, so what? You over there stuck on Ardmore. You wouldn't even move if the better situation came along your way. You're not even trying." And I thought about it. First I was angry. Then I said, wait. Is there any truth to this? So then I said, well, I'm just going to become open. Just in case. Very shortly after that, I found myself looking at a place. Actually, it was for business reasons, to do a job, but it happened to be empty. And my kids, it just so happened, didn't normally take my kids when I would look at a job, but it just so happened that I took the kids with me. And when I took the kids, they began running around the place, and they said, "Oh, Daddy, this place is so big and so nice. We should move here." I couldn't believe it. As much as they loved Ardmore, I said, what? It made me consider. And I said, well, no. I told myself I wasn't going to move unless the place had this, it had that, and it was this type of deal. And I was getting just as good a deal as where I was. I told myself that because I knew it was doggone near impossible to have a better deal than where I was. Or just as good a deal with a better place. But all of those things just seemed to magically fall in place. So we moved. And we absolutely loved it over there. And this is just one scenario that proved that yes, my soul is eternal and heaven is everywhere. This is one of the spiritual truths that we experience with the meditation on the light and sound within and the practicing of a metaphysical approach to life. This is also part of the enlightenment program that I offer here at Meditative Zone. This way of life is. And it takes many examples and practice in order to move into this on a regular basis. But I truly believe that this is what life is all about. I thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed and continue to enjoy your life. Thank you.